Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's 6 a.m. I've not slept. Let's skip that. So, kind of a different style of video. I'm doing it off my phone. It's a reaction video. If this goes up, excellent. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, if you're watching this, there'll be more videos like this to come. I found an app and stuff, and I'm hoping it's all synced up. If it isn't, forgive me. And I'm trying to work on it so I can put more content out. It's a funny place to stop, but it's right at the start of the video. And I'm trying to wrap this all up real quick, what I'm saying, before I get started. Yeah, I really enjoy just listening to stuff and commenting on it, and just conversation, as I always say. So there's not always someone to talk to, unfortunately, about interesting stuff. So I do tend to consume a lot of content, and as you can see by the title, what says it might be cut out a bit. Muslim men react to Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's taken, you know what, I don't need to say anything. I think you guys know, and these are two Muslim guys, Hijab and Ohigab and Ali Dawah. And I've not watched this video yet. These are two guys I follow. No one's perfect, so I'm not claiming they're perfect, but they're quite interesting.
Are you wasting your time on social media again? Your brothers and sisters in Islam net from Norway can do. I'm here joined with the main man himself, the individual who's known to be a major influencer in the Muslim world. As an individual where the young ones and the children in the secondary schools and the primary schools, they all know who he is. We're talking about Ali Needs.
Okay, also, by the way, I've actually met Ali Dawah once, you won't remember. The only thing I said to him was, Ali Dawah and his Dawah. He didn't really appreciate it. It was intended as a joke. If he ever sees this, forgive me. It's a joke.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. It's a pleasure to be on this platform after a long time on the same couch.
Absolutely. And what kind of an honor must it be to be sitting with this the man himself?
I mean, some people get lost for words. Some people, like you, act ecstatically.
Yes.
It changes from person to person.
Yes.
But I can see the joy in your eyes. I can see it when I look at your eyes. The happiness
Absolutely.
I'm here at your presence.
Well, I think that the enthralled exuberance that that you're manifesting, the shivering excitement that you displayed when you saw me. I think that's a very typical natural reaction.
Timid.
Anyway,
so what do we have here? What have you got for us today?
What we've got today, inshallah. There's a individual, I don't know if it's call him a brother now, because I'm not sure if he's become a Muslim or if he's looking into Islam. But there's an individual called Andrew Tate. Now, this guy, you know who he is, right?
He's notorious, yes. I've been studying him very carefully, actually.
In fact, I was meant to be speaking to him on a podcast, and it fell through. Our schedules conflicted and stuff, and I think it was actually my fault, to be honest with you, because I didn't,
Okay. I'm sure you can rearrange that.
We can rearrange. But I've actually been sent some videos from brothers and Muslim people that of his
so
videos.
far, it seems
this is
like
what I haven't watched
endorsing
so far. So what I want to do is actually watch it with you, and then
yes, just to give it, just so people are aware, we have been studying this issue very closely. This issue of this whole Red Pill movement.
Would you consider Andrew Tate part of the movement himself, or?
Yeah, definitely, 100% he is, and I think we are like, I want people to be aware that we are aware. Okay. We were just waiting for the right time to come. So this might be just like a little taster.
Yeah. Before you continue with that, I was going to say that I did watch his interaction with Eddie from the Dean Show.
Yes. And
he came across very humbly and respectfully. But then I was also told that this individual is he's on these kind of platforms with women who are low quality individual women. That dress in a certain manner, and they don't have much to offer in life. Low quality women. And
low quality.
He lives kind of like what would seemingly, from the outside or from a religious perspective, look to be a hedonistic lifestyle.
Well, exactly. Yes.
But on the other hand, of course, he's established in certain fields, but then he's been criticized for certain things which I don't know much about.
Yeah. We need to touch up on this, because there's another extreme that's been, like the Red Pill movement.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we will go into detail more.
Before we get into detail, the reason why I bring this up is because as Muslims, it's important for young men to take inspiration and to take as role models, we beve anyway, from the prophets. Yeah?
Exactly.
The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is the final prophet. We have Prophet Moses and Jesus and Abraham and all those. And how to be a man, for example, the aspect of masculinity is to be derived from the sacred texts, to be derived from the Sirah Nabawiyah, from the Prophet Muhammad's life. To be derived. So I'm not saying this man doesn't display masculine, so-called masculine. Clearly he does, to the point where some Muslim men are looking up to him in some ways. But if you want the full package of masculinity, of human integrity, then we believe that's from the prophets and the companions and so on. So this idea of trying to find role models outside the community, and for Andrew himself, which I'm guessing is watching this video, I would say to you that to be a complete man, we would say, to be a complete man, to be self-dignified in the fullest sense of the word,
to reach a
from a
pinnacle,
spiritual
to reach a pinnacle of manhood,
perspective, is to follow the prophets.
Exactly.
And that will show you what virtue is. But let's watch what the brother
Let's watch
says.
this, inshallah.
Let me tell you something. Revolutions are nothing more than a bunch of men in one place. It's not women. It's men. If you put enough men on a city square pissed off, a revolution happens. That's what the people in charge of the world are afraid of. So to make sure there's no revolution, what they do is they construct as many divisions amongst the peasants as possible. They make sure the blacks hate the whites, the men hate the women, the Republicans hate the Democrats, and we're all so busy fighting with each other they can laugh from the top because there's not very many of them and there's a bunch of us. I'm telling you, the reason in countries like America, the reason the law is so destructive against men is very, very purposeful. They don't want you to feel like a king. They don't want you to feel powerful. You wake up amongst three kids. If you have 10 sons from 10 baby mamas, you're going to wake up and feel like the man. You ain't taking shit easy. If you wake up on your third year of a sexless marriage, paying taxes, and your kids don't even listen to you, you don't really feel like rebellion. You don't have it inside of you. This is why there's so much male suicide. This is why men are so depressed. This is why everyone's so unhappy, because the life they try and create for men, the things they try and purport, the ideas they try and make us subscribe to are depressing. They want you as a tax slave. They want you as a tax slave. They want you in a sexless marriage with some old fat bitch who hates you. That's what they want. Afraid to leave because they'll take your house and destroy your life's work. And they want you to sit there and pay your taxes until you fucking die. This is all done on purpose. None of this is an accident. It's all very purposeful. And in countries which are not like this, in countries where men still have that masculine essence, in countries where they're still in control of their own household, when the government tries to become tyrannical, it's far more difficult to do because the men get together and say, you know what, women, clean the house. I'll be back in 2 hours. I'm going to tell these guys to get. And that's the reality of it. This is a control mechanism, along with everything else. Everything you see on TV, this is my final rant. Everything you see on TV is a control mechanism. All the shit they put on Netflix is a control mechanism. Telling you that you have mental problems you don't have is a control mechanism. Telling you, you can't focus on anything for 2 minutes because you have ADHD, or you're depressed and you can never fix it. They're trying to control you. They're trying to dampen your life force. Making sure your woman doesn't listen to you is a control mechanism. Making sure you can never leave her without being financially destroyed is a control mechanism. It's all control mechanisms, all of it from head to toe. You have to resist the slave mind. You have to look at it all and understand they are trying to make a slave of you. And when I say slave, I do not mean slave likely. I mean the word slave. They are printing money from the sky, and you're giving up your life for it. If they can create something in unlimited amounts anytime they want, and you'll give up your life and time for that said thing, you are their slave. They don't need to use power and control and whips anymore. They just have the money print button. It's slavery. And they need to make sure that even if you know that, you don't feel powerful enough to do anything about it. All of this, every single thing about the modern world was deliberately constructed to get us to a point where they can come along and lock you in your house for something with a 99.9% survival rate, and you're going to sit there and take it like a anyway. That's what all of this shit is, including being in a position where you can't even tell your own woman she's not allowed out with her friends to get drunk with a bunch of dudes. Because you're not even allowed to do that. If a wife comes home and goes, I want to go out drinking tonight, you go, you're not going nowhere. Oh, I want to go out with my friends from work. You're not going out with them men. That's coercive and controlling behavior. Bro, you can't even tell your not to go get drunk with dudes.
They'll call that abusive.
You're an abusive misogynist. You're Andrew Tate. Cancel him. It's insanity, and it's all done on purpose. I don't want anyone to sit here and think this is some accident we've.
Well, I just want to comment on this. Sorry, I know it's been quite long. It's probably going to end up quite a long video, and I think that's how they might go. I'll see. Give me some feedback. I might chop them up. I think what he does is for shock factor. I love what he says, but he does have an appeal to a certain audience. And I think what he does, and he's demonstrated here, is he'll throw some truths out there, some things that resonate with people. And then he'll say some dodgy things as well. And then you kind of mix the two up and you end up agreeing or disagreeing. Right? So I agree with some he's appealing to emotion, I think, of men who are tired of working for the system and all this kind of stuff anyway. Also, the issue with what he's saying in regards to, I'm not sure what these two are about to say, if they're going to agree or disagree, we'll find out, but in regards to, oh, you bitch, basically, I mean, why you'd call on that, I don't know, your wife, not going out with men, this is an agreement that obviously you should have together, two-way, so it's not, so it is controlling for you to say, in my opinion, no, you're not going out and getting drunk with your friends, rather it should be, we don't do that. Do you get me? So anyway, that's my opinion.
Arrived at, or that we're here now and it's no big deal. This is very, very purposeful, because when you destroy the warriors of a society, that's how you usher in slavery. First thing the Romans did when they conquered the Greeks is kill all the warriors, all the fighting age males. You leave the soy boys and then you can conquer it. Done. That's what they're doing to us. They're trying to destroy the warriors. So my G's, the ones who are left, don't worry about we got bigger fights coming up. We got bigger wars coming ahead of us. So if you want to fuck some, go fuck. Because I really believe the next 10 years are going to be difficult for men of stature. I really believe that.
So, like, to me personally, bro, there is truths into what they say, what he's saying. But obviously, we don't agree with like a lot of the stuff. Like, forget the delivery and swearing. Let's put that to a side. There is an attack. Like, for example, why is it that if I was to tell my wife that she cannot go out with, we don't live that lifestyle, but like, let's suppose, you know, I was a non-Muslim and I had a wife and I told my wife, you know, I don't want to go out with your friends. Why is that abusive? Why is it? And he's right, bro. Like, if you look at war in history, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also this implemented throughout history, that when you go to war with a specific nation who has transgressed over and over again, usually the men are executed. Period. Why? And why? It's you can see, because at the end of the day, a man plays a pivotal role in the future. And also, when it comes up to our nature, we are going to be rebellious. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So that's within our nature. But why is it seen as oppressive? Or like, for example, when I took more of the end bit towards what he said, is that a man cannot even tell his wife, I don't want you to do A. So how do we expect anything? Like,
I don't know. I was listening to what you said, and it seemed like there was
said, I don't want you to, but Tate actually said,
it's almost like a political commentary, and then there was a social commentary, and then you had like a domestic gender.
Yeah, but it went from macro to micro.
Yeah, and
because it's authority. Politically, it's authority.
I'm with you, but okay. So these elites that he's talking about, right? So how do they benefit from? There are questions I have on these theories. Like, how would these elites benefit from the lack of a warrior class? For example, if America, take that as an example, as a superpower, and this idea of divide and conquer, like put these people here and put these people here, that's more tenable. I think you can make an argument for that. How that links to like what red pill pillars like Tomasi and others have called like the gynocentric order and these kind of things is more difficult for me to try and understand. But what he's saying in terms of the gender discussion is interesting, right? Because when Moral Farron was talking about in his book The Myth of Male Power, and he's talking about the definition of power, and he said the definition of power is the ability of someone to take control of their own lives. Yeah. Okay. And what he's doing is, in effect, he's taking that definition of power, knowingly or unknowingly, right? And he's saying, look, you're not really in control of your own life, because a man is not in control of his domestic affairs. Yes. He's not in control of X, Y, Z, all these things that historically he has been in control of. Yeah. And this is causing a psychological backlash for that man.
Yes,
you see. Now, if that's the way it's being phrased, then there's great truth, obviously, in that notion, right?
Yes.
And it's a counterbalance to the feministic narrative, which says that, well, what we have is an oppressor-oppressed relationship. You've got the patriarchy, you've got men being oppressed by women being oppressed by men, and that's how it works. Well, if you did redefine what power constitutes here, power is the ability of a man to take control, a person to take control of their lives. He's outlining examples, suicide and lack of domestic control, or payments, or the fact that a woman can take half of the man's income, even though she hasn't contributed to it. You know, these kind of things, which, frankly, Islamically, from our perspective, completely we're against these things. In addition, I'll add to it, for example, to the things like custody of the children, or the fact that a woman can take complete custody and just through the power of accusing a man, stop and prevent a man from seeing his own children. Okay, these things are really, these things in society are deep-rooted injustices we would see from an Islam perspective.
Yes, exactly.
Unfortunately, what we're seeing in the Muslim community is that some women are actually jumping onto the bandwagon and taking these leverage.
I'll rephrase that. A lot of women.
Yeah.
Not some women. A lot of women.
And so this is where this we would see
Yes.
from accusing a man. Stop him. We are against these things. In addition, I'll add to it, for example, to the things like custody of the children, or the fact that a woman can take complete custody, and just through the power of accusing a man, stop and prevent a man from seeing his own children. Okay,
Exactly.
these things are really these things in society are deep-rooted injustices we would see from an Islam perspective.
Yes, exactly.
Unfortunately, what we're seeing in the Muslim community is that some women are actually jumping onto the bandwagon and taking these leverage.
I'll rephrase that. A lot of women.
Yeah.
Not some women.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where he gets a lot of women. My criticisms of Ali Dawah, I might have to share over the coming videos.
A lot of women.
And this is where this discourse is actually legitimate.
Yes.
But where it comes together into some kind of grand conspiracy, I think we would need to unpack it a little bit and clean it up a little bit here. But there's certainly some grievances which need to be redressed. What else would you say, bro?
I mean, like you said before, like the whole thing of, world order. Look, I'm not really concerned about that right now. Do you get it? Like, if there's an outright attack in my very household, I need to fix what's in my household, bro. I don't like right now. I'm not care about like the Dajjal's come in and the Antichrist and right now I have to deal with what's happening in my house. And the thing is, like I said before, is that we speak to a lot of brothers, and this issue, what we need to understand is that there's another extreme happening now, because the nature of men and women have been so corrupted. And men are not men anymore and women are not women anymore. We're seeing it entering our households, and we are seeing the ripple effects of that. And people like Andrew Tate, which I've been told that the Muslim youth are looking up to him and listening to him. Why? Why is that happening? Wherever there is an action, there's going to be a reaction. And that's exactly what we're seeing, bro. Because when men are feeling, and that's why Jordan Peterson is become so popular. Why? Because he listens and they say to him, well, why is it a lot of men listening to you? Well, why? Because maybe it's the fact that we are being starved of our true nature. Why can I not be?
Yeah, I think it's an important point.
This is the crux of the matter, bro. And we are seeing it slowly poisoning our ummah. So much so that now we have our Muslim youth who are looking up to Andrew Tate. Now, this is the reason why, and...
Alright, I'm just want to do my 2 pence. If you're part of the Muslim youth, I don't think you should be looking up to Andrew Tate.
You have these private discussions, yeah? Me and you and...
Or any youth.
All brothers that we talk to, we can see this coming. And we're actually preparing for it. Because we can see the family unit is being destroyed in front of our very eyes. So the thing is, either we come with the approach of the Quran and the Sunnah, not extremes, because there's a lot of extremes out there. Brothers are going, again, I'll be honest with you, I believe there are people out there who are going to the extreme level of trying to be the Muslim Andrew Tate. And we're looking at it. No, let's be real here. They are genuinely doing it. And the thing is the more they're trying to show that...
Andrew Tate can become the Muslim Andrew Tate himself.
He does, but there's a lot of things that he needs to tweak. And I think if you have a discussion with him and arrange it, please, I mean, he needs to understand that as a Muslim, and when it comes to Islam, the issue of polygamy is there. It's a perfect solution. It's actually a better solution to what he has, because he believes that he can sleep around and do what he likes, and he has to come to home and there's one obedient wife.
But to be fair, I saw him with Eddie. He said that something about 4 is all you need or something like that.
Okay, good. No, Islam is a solution for you.
I think you make a series of very, very good points. And what I would want to add to that is the following: this idea that you said that a man is being starved of his true nature.
Yes.
Alright, here's one criticism I have with these guys and people of their somewhat Ali Dawah, or the people in the Muslim scene, really, right? The Muslim Dawah scene. I find, having listened to these guys for many years now, right, consistently, not necessarily individually him, though I've probably have. When there's someone getting big views, right, who seems like he's doing something Islamic, they will jump on it. So where he's saying, oh, Muslim youths are looking up to him, blah blah. I don't know. In fact, what did you just say a second ago? What? My screen's froze. That is screen. You guys are gonna see my background, but there you go.
But Islam is a solution for you.
I think you make a series of very...
Right, let's be real. Andrew Tate does not want 4 wives, and thus, Islam is not solely the solution for him because he wants 4 wives. Like, this is it's a bit of a dumb statement in my opinion. Obviously, as Muslims, we believe Islam is the best way of life for every man and woman, obviously, for mankind, humankind, which, yeah, I'll take no issue with that term. But the way he'll use things like this, like, for example, here's another example, right? They will follow the opinion that boxing is haram, but if they can get a boxer on the show who, you know, who gets loads of views and is very popular, like Khabib Nurmagomedov, you know, Habib, whatever his name is exactly, you know, don't want to say hijab because I know he's mentioned the differences of opinion and so on, but a lot of these guys, generally, I'm saying here, will state that, oh, boxing is haram, MMA, UFC, whatever you want to call it, is haram, yeah. But the same people will have on, if they had the opportunity to put Habib on or Khabib on, they would have him on in a heartbeat. Not only would they have him on, they will make videos about him, or defending Islam, or the fight against McGregor was haq versus batil, you know, truthhood versus falsehood. It's like, hold on, 1 minute the sport's haram, next minute it's this guy's on top of the world getting millions of views, so popular. Now you want to talk about him, not just talk about him, now you want to kind of endorse him and show, like, oh, he's fighting for Islam. I'm not saying these two are doing that, but generally there's this sort of attitude of it's like licking next man's arse when they're on top. I don't know how else to politely put it, but as soon as someone does well, even if what they're doing well is haram, if they can pull anything and say, oh, that bit's Islamic, that bit, they do that, and I find that distasteful personally. And the best example I can give is where they will say, oh, boxing is haram, mixed martial arts, striking sports are haram, and in the same, you know, a few videos later, perfect example, Khabib versus McGregor. Khabib said McGregor said some questionable things, you know, that may be seen as Islamophobic, perhaps. It depends how you look at it and whatnot. And then they will suddenly be like, oh, big Khabib fans, and oh, look how Khabib dealt with this and dealt with that, and he's such a great guy. But hold on, a minute ago you're talking about it's a haram sport, and why, you know, I understand, and I am for taking the good from the good and leave the bad with the, you know, leave the bad to the bad and whatever, but hopefully you get the point I'm making. Maybe I can improve the way I'm articulating it, but I take issue with this. I take issue with this approach. I don't like it. I find it distasteful. You know, Andrew Tate, you know, I don't want to say he's far from Islam, but this guy's he's not a Muslim, you know what I mean? He's not. And you suggesting that, I mean, the guy openly says he sleeps around with women, he's got plenty of girlfriends, he's what, you know, you turning around and saying, oh, 4 wives is your solution. It's like, maybe in this instance it is, maybe it is, I'm not saying it isn't, but it's like anyone who's getting views and traction, in this case Andrew Tate, they will try and put some Islamic spin on it, you know, to try and, I don't know whether they're just trying to garner views for themselves or whatever, but yeah, whatever, anyway.
Very good points, you know, and while
I don't mean these two in particular, certainly not hijab anyway.
I want to add to that is the following. This idea that you said that, you know, a man is being started with his true nature.
Yes.
First of all, we have to admit that there is a nature of a man.
Of
right?
course.
Obviously, now we're living in an age of post-structuralism and
Exactly.
social constructionism. So the idea is there is no nature of man. This is what we've been told. This is also a social construct. But then, for me, do you know this whole transgender kind of movement, right? Well, when they say, I have gender dysphoria, I want to transition from man to female because I've always felt like a man. Yeah. That presupposes a true nature of a man in the first place. So there's a contradiction here that lies within the social constructionist ideology, which is that they, on the one hand, you can't actually transition. Let's put it in racial terms.
Okay.
You can't transition from being white to black unless there's such a thing as being black and such a thing as being white.
Exactly.
Likewise, you can't transition from being white, from male to female, unless there's such a thing as being a man,
Exactly.
and such a thing as being a woman.
Exactly.
So
unless we're all born with gender binary.
What you were saying about the true nature of man. A lot of people I know, especially from the left wing inclination, like proclivities from that side, are going to say, well, actually, it's all gender construct. But then, if it's a gender construct, then the transitions from one construct to another would be almost meaningless, almost completely.
Exactly. It's self-defeating.
It makes no sense to me. So that's the first thing. There is a true nature of a man.
Yes.
And there is a masculine archetype out there, and it can be manifest. And this is what our religion teaches.
Yes.
And it does include things which are not in the feminine archetype, which, for example, may include increased aggressivity. It may include, but it's not limited to, increased kind of sexuality. And it's almost like as if many men today, and I think we would agree even within Muslim and non-Muslims, feel like they've been starved of being able to manifest that reality without being shamed by society.
Exactly, and that's why you have the other extremes.
If they engage in some kind of self-defense situation, or if they want to be in a polygamous reality, whatever it may be, because you want those things, are to be shamed. How dare you? You should, in fact, feel guilty. You should feel guilty for that. And in fact, this whole polygynous nature that you have is a construct. And you're
also on the polygyny thing. I think what is very interesting is that people shun it and shame it. Oh, how can you be married to more than one woman? Right, but hold on. You can legally have multiple girlfriends or boyfriends. You can legally, be in a 3-way, 4-way, 10-way relationship. So as soon as you stick marriage and commitment onto the end of that, it's now an issue, even though it's, for example, 3 people who consent. So this is a pathetic, legislation, really, and it's probably because not enough people are interested in it, maybe in the UK or something. But I think they have a very good point in that regard, especially the gender stuff he was mentioning as well, in terms of the social constructs and whatnot. But we can go into that another time, maybe.
People from.
Also, when I say stuff like that, I don't mean I'm going to come and educate you all. I'm just reacting to what they're saying and thinking about it and putting my 2 cents in. Maybe I'm wrong.
And it's in nature. Let's get this right. Polygamy, being polygamous, is not a choice. It's your nature. Let's get that very correctly.
Unless you're homosexual. Or maybe a transgender.
No.
Or you have low testosterone.
Even if you're homosexual, you might still be polygamous.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. as even they looked at, for example, gay men, and they realized that when it comes to, they are still visually stimulated. Yeah? Gay men, it's the same. Like, you don't see that with women, but with men, like, we're visual creatures,
You'll be watching this
studies, yeah? So the thing is, it shows that if that's the case, then a gay man could also still be polygamous with his nature, wanting to be with different men, maybe.
In fact, yes.
The point is this, though, that's within their nature, and that's why it's seeked into brothers, bro.
I'm not sure where he's getting that everyone is polygamous. It's in the nature. Why does it have to be in every single man's nature? It doesn't have to be, surely, right? I could be wrong, but I don't see. Is he getting this from Islamic sources, from scientific sources, from social studies, that polygamy is in every man's nature? Every man's nature? Does it have to be every man? I don't personally find the need to be polygamous. Maybe that'll change in the future, I don't know. I get myself in shit. But every man, I don't know, I just find that a bit of a sweeping statement.
The brothers, and they're like, oh no, bro, I'm happy with what, hold on a second, bro, where'd you get that from? And like, well, no, hold on a second, because I have to look at the brother in the eye. And I said, look, bro, and I would break it down, and he'll be like, oh no, if my wife was okay, this, and I'm like, well, hold on a second, so that's your nature. So what's stopping you is that the wife is being upset. Now another thing that you mentioned is that gender cannot be social constructs. Because Jordan Peterson talks about this, because if you look at Scandinavian countries, which are egalitarian, that you will see that usually he says this. He says men are interested in things and women are interested in people. And when you see egalitarian countries like the Scandinavian countries, you see the disparity growing.
Yeah.
So he's saying, well, how can that be the case? Because if it's socially constructed, when you put these things and when you let them be, okay, egalitarian, then how is it that these women, like women tend to go to childcare and men tend to be engineers?
Yeah, exactly.
And
This is exactly the point that I think probably is where Peterson got it from.
Yeah.
Because he hosts him is Warren Farron's magnum opus, or his main book, which is The Myth of Male Power, which where he was talking about when you look at the trends of what women are interested in by nature. Yeah. Romance novels, romancing. This is not something which they're being forced to buy.
Yes.
No one's forcing a woman to do it. And it's cross-cultural. Like, if you see this, the fact that it's cross-cultural and it's historical, it's an extremely difficult and problematic case to make. To say, well, actually, women don't like love stories, and they don't like romance, and they don't like novels. This is a social construct. Because if it's a social construct, it seems like there was an interestingly immense collaborative effort.
Yes. It's a mass conspiracy.
It's not just a mass conspiracy. Yeah. The biggest mass conspiracy known to man, or I should say women as well, which is that all societies have come together and says, oh, women, do this. Yeah. Even though the ones in the most desolate and derelict places, and men do this. You know, there was a study that I remember looking at some time ago called Bandora, Ross and Ross, when they were looking at the effects of children, what kind of toys they like. You know, the boys like guns and these kinds of things, and the girls like, dolls and this kind. Yeah. If you want to try and eliminate that from the nature of man and say there's no nature, then we have a problem here. So the first thing is we have to admit there is a nature, there is a fixed masculine archetype, and by not being that thing, by not being able to manifest that thing, by not being, then this is going to cause resentment. Yes. It's going to cause hate. It's going to cause, and as you correctly said, I think every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Yeah. If there's a segment of our population, whether it's women or otherwise, who think that men are, this is going to put men in order and check, or they're going to get the best out of life by doing this, all they're doing is it's an act of self-deception.
There was a pediatrician, if that. Yes. So he done a study. So what he did is he got this. Young girl. So he got a young girl. So there was two parents. So he wanted to carry a study out on her. So what he did is he got this young girl and he gave this girl from a very young age trucks to play with. Yeah. So she would start playing with trucks, etc. Yeah. And then when they were carrying out the study, what he did is like they asked the parents to go in the room, and when they went to the room, they actually saw the young girl hugging the truck, and there was a little truck, and the girl actually labeled the big truck the daddy, and the mummy, and the little truck the baby. So you can see, even when you've given them a truck, which is it's a boy's toy, she turned it into a mother and turned the little truck into the baby. Exactly. So you can see that it's innately within their nature. And to deny this is to be stupid.
I think you've done a good job in putting the case, and we've obviously answered. One thing I would say to Andrew Tate is that, like, this whole thing about there's going to be a war coming, and this, I think, is part of his nature, that he's conflict orientated, and that's for good reason. Like, I think he was a fighter before or something. Like, he's a retired.
It might be for marketing reasons.
Maybe. No, but I think every man wants to do this. Part of our nature is that we are conflict orientated. You know.
My nature kicked in. My nature kicked in.
Some are more effective than others. You know. But what I was going to say was that conflict.
My violence.
This war against, I don't know, the government or whoever he thinks is going to be a war against. I think this is a fiction that he's created, a dramatized fiction that he's created for himself in order to fulfill his own nature. I say to him, look, you don't need to rely on these kinds of fictions. We have the religious narrative. Exactly. And for us as Muslims, there's always a kind of jihad going on, whether it's an inner struggle or there's going to be an outer defense or something like that. Yeah. So I think that and this is what I would say to Tate and others that follow him from Muslim and non-Muslim, is that look at the religion of Islam, because it's not just about gender. You shouldn't come into religion about the gender issue or through the gender issue. The religion of Islam is fundamentally about believing and worshipping one God worthy of worship, the all-knowing, all-wise God that tells all human beings how to live their life in a way which wouldn't make them cognitively dissonant, would make them upset, make them depressed, make them feel like they're not manifesting their nature, and in a way which is commensurate and congruent with the spiritual right path. So I would say, look into the Quran properly, read it, read the biographies of the prophets, read the biographies of the companions of the Prophet. You'll see masculinity exemplified in the most manifest way you've ever seen it in your life. And of course, for femininity, women can look at the mothers of the believers, Mary, the story of Mary in the Quran, and so on and so on. And one thing I would end this video with is the following. The Quran says something really powerful on this whole issue of gender issues, which is, وَلَا تَتَمَنَّوْا مَا فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ بِهِ بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. That do not wish what the other one has, basically. What Allah has given. لِلرِّجَالِ نَصِيبٌ مِمَّا اكْتَسَبُوا وَلِلنِّسَاءِ نَصِيبٌ مِمَّا اكْتَسَبْنَ وَاسْأَلُ اللَّهَ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. 2 men is a portion of what they have earned, and 2 women is a portion of what they. In other words, we believe in a complementarity between men and women. this is the system. There are roles and responsibilities that men and women have, and Islam puts it both together in such a beautiful way.
Perfect way.
It's a perfect way.
Wallahi.
It's a symbiotically perfect way, which allows both to manifest their natures in the best way possible, and in a way which both will feel spiritually connected to the Most High and most familiarly and domestically connected to each other.
Exactly.
As well.
And let me tell you something, just to end on this here. That's what we see.
No, that's where it's going. Okay. Go on.
My masculine side kicked in. The thing is,
Which doesn't exist. I mean, so that one is a gender construct.
when you look at a lot of women who's coming to Islam, it's because they truly understand and they come into connection with their true nature. Yeah? Now, what's happening with the Red Pill movement is that a lot of these men, that's what Andrew Tate said, if I was to bet on anything in the next 5-10 years, it will be Islam. Yeah? Why?
Oh, yeah,
that's what he said.
Right, yeah.
Why did he say that? Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to say his true manly masculine nature, because I believe they are transgressing. They're transgressing a bit. When he comes to Islam, Islam will balance that to what being a real man is. Because I believe his likes and the Red Pill movement are transgressing those limits of being masculine. I think they're going a bit overboard.
Yeah,
so I believe there's going to be a phenomenon of a lot of men
like
coming to Islam.
Of women,
Yes, bro.
yeah,
No, let's get that very straight. Yeah,
this is this.
Yeah. You're going abroad.
The
like
profanities.
Allah, exactly, like Allah says in the Quran. You know,
lack of compassion.
Yeah. He's allowed for us to, you know. He's given us like married 2s, 3s, 4s, etc. And those after that who transgress. Because Allah saying, look, I've allowed you to do
justice to marry anyone.
Exactly. But Allah's put things in place for, as a man, for me to have intimacy in the right place.
Yeah.
But those who go and commit zina, you've transgressed now. Because Allah's giving you options. So the same with the Red Pill movement. You guys are transgressing. When you come to Islam, you'll have a balanced way of being a true man and not trying to go extra miles by posting ridiculous, pathetic stuff that you do to your wife.
Overcompensate.
Yeah, I think he's made a very profound point there, and I do agree. And I'd implore you, I don't know if that's the right word, to look into Islam. You know, in reference to that point he's made there. However, in my opinion, not these guys, but Andrew Tate and this whole Red Pill movement, I think a lot of them just do it for marketing, as he might have been alluding to earlier, and just for clickbait shit, like where he said, oh, if my woman did OnlyFans, then I would take all the money because I own those parts. You know, like, okay, Ali, that I would argue, I'm sure he'd agree it's probably marketing as well, but in this instance he's arguing that, oh, that's him going too far in the masculinity thing and Islam will bring you back down to earth, which I agree with. However, I don't think he's going too far naturally. I think he knows he's going to get views saying shit like that, basically. So I think it's easy to assume sincerity from these Red Pill movement guys, and that they're sincerity to these Red Pill movement guys such as Andrew Tate. But I think a lot of it's PR, man, and marketing and views. Do you know what I mean? Ultimately money from that. So are they really sincere? Do they really believe everything they're saying? Is this all fitra based, natural predisposition based, like he was talking about the polygamy? I'm not sure. Maybe some of it is, and that's what's appealing to a lot of these Muslims, for example. Like you say, Muslim youth following them. But I think a lot of it is just marketing and clickbait, and
doing to your wife, which is dhulm, which I'm not going to get into detail, but that's it. I think there's more to
it.
This is just a tip of the iceberg. This is a phenomenon that's affecting our ummah, and be rest assured that me, Mohammed Hijab, Zishan, we are closely working on something that will have a fine balance, that we don't have our brothers looking up to people like Andrew Tate, and our sisters who are going to maybe suffering. But when I mean suffering is because at the end of the day, we need to blame ourselves as well. Because as a Muslim woman, if you don't have your true nature and being yourself and respecting your husband, don't be surprised when you have many Andrew Tates coming to your household, because we can't just blame that. For every action, there's a reaction. Our sisters are also causing a lot of Muslim men to turn to that direction. So inshallah, we will have something that will be balanced from the Quran and the Sunnah that helps us to re-establish the family unit.
And that's what it is. It's in the Quran and the Sunnah. And this is what we call everyone to, the Quran and the Sunnah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Those glasses were quite cool there in the end. Let's check them out.
Balance from the Quran and the Sunnah that helps us to re-establish the family unit.
And that's what it is. It's in the Quran.
Look at the purple sort of lens. I'm in the market for some new glasses on a side note.
under the Sunnah, and this is what we call every.
Actually, I think that's just a reflection. Anyway, overall, interesting video. Didn't actually talk as much as I thought I would, and it's quite a long one, and a lot of it was just listening. I've not watched this video before, and it was quite slow. It's also almost 7 AM, and I've not slept, so forgive me. I'm really tired. If you enjoyed the video, let me know, guys. You've listened to them and listened to my perfect sort of commentary over the top of it. And yeah, I'm gonna try and improve this setup slightly. It's not gonna change much more. I don't wanna be editing. That's the thing. I don't have the time to edit at the moment. Like, I'm just too busy not doing the things I'm supposed to be doing. So I need to take accountability for that. I'm aware if I waffle on from now and you've watched it thus far, you're probably gonna watch it to the end. So like, share, subscribe, comment any criticism, comment if you watched it all as well. I'd be interested to know that. And if Alida or Hijab ever see this video, they probably won't, then you know, I mean, no disrespect or anything like that to those guys. They're doing a lot for Islam, so you know, I can only be grateful of that. Yeah, I really enjoyed this video. I'm going to do similar videos. This is definitely more of an Islamic kind of video, you would say. And I didn't anticipate reacting to something like that. But these are things that I generally watch, and I think I do have interesting takes on them. Sometimes maybe less in this one. With all the sort of boxing and whatnot comment thing, I think that's something I've wanted to say to someone for a long time. These things just frustrate me as well, to be honest. So it's nice to be able to voice them, even if no one's really watching. Yeah. So expect more. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and yeah, suggest me some videos as well if you want to sort of react to. It's quite interesting. It's quite fun. More so thought-provoking videos, you know. I've started to get a bit of, well, no, it's been a while. I find philosophy and stuff quite interesting. I know this isn't philosophy, but you know, laws and current affairs and stuff. Yeah, so anyway, I need to go to sleep. Yeah, so like, comment, share, and thank you for your